bit about it. I was going to look up names this morning, and I didn't look up names. Hannah had prom last night, and she asked if an individual young man from the cities would like to go with her to prom, and they're just friends. He is very, very smart. He comes from a very political family. The political family, I mean, the wife has dinners with Michelle Bachmann, talks with Tom Emmer, and other individuals. They went out and they looked at Hillsdale College. Hillsdale College, in case you've never heard of Hillsdale College, Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, they're always promoting Hillsdale. 26 years is the last time that a student received a 4.0 grade point average at Hillsdale. That's how smart of a school it is. They train you into politics. And so, speaking with this young man yesterday, they had just gotten done. Yesterday was the congressional district caucus to elect delegates to go to nationals from their precinct. And then they'll still have state as well, which is going to be up in Duluth, I believe, next month. And what was interesting about this is that the mother came up as well, and she's a newbie in all this stuff. And I didn't get a chance to ask her how she was able to get into the position that she's in, because she's a delegate. But up until this point, it doesn't really seem that she was as active as she is now. But somehow she knows the bigwigs. And she was speaking with Tom Emmer, and this is what she told us. This goes to show, and the reality of the global government. She mentioned a name by the name of Weber. Was it Weber or Weber? Who is like a Karl Rove in the Republican Party for the state of Minnesota. When Tom Emmer ran for governor on this last election, against Dayton, he originally had a woman, the first woman he chose as his running mate, right? And the woman that we were talking with yesterday knows her pretty well, and she says she's a strong Christian woman, and it was an exciting ticket. Well, this Weber or Weber, whatever his last name was, wanted to get together with Tom Emmer and wanted to hook him up with the Saudi family. Saudi-funded group.
Within the GOP.
Within the GOP. And she didn't get into full specifics about it, but she said, they know that this group isn't a good group. And they were telling him, why meet with them? Why meet with them? And he said, what's it going to hurt? What's it going to hurt to meet with this group? And so she said after the meeting that they had, she said he was different. She dropped this woman as his running mate. And it would be like, what's the term is that? When you have governor and then you have lieutenant. I'm sorry, that's right, lieutenant governor.
Yep.
Lieutenant governor. And so he ended up dropping this woman and then taking on as lieutenant governor this other woman who is, according to this woman, is like a Hillary Clinton. And she said it literally, this, and basically this is what the Saudi family told Tom Emmer, that you will do it this way. You cannot have her as your running mate. We want you to have this woman as your running mate. And the woman that he had, Tom Emmer got up there, gave the speech. The woman that was his running mate didn't even know. And he just got up there and said, she's a great woman, but we feel that this is the direction we need to go. And so he was going to elect. And I remember, I didn't know a lot about Tom Emmer. He's got his own radio program down in the cities. But the ignorance, I told her this, I said, I was just so ignorant to all this stuff, just the dirtiness that's within politics right now. And I still don't understand even the voting that they had down there at the convention. The district convention, they had you voted 3 times down there. And the first time you go in and you vote who you don't plan on to pick, right?
From what I understand, you go there voting for who you do plan on picking. So so there's 3 categories in this. So it's Trump, Cruz, and Rubio, and because they still have Rubio on the ticket. Mm-hmm. And the first round, so there's a round that you have to go. In the first round, you vote on who you came there to vote for, like who you were sent there to vote for.
Right.
And
yes.
Then the second round, you can vote on another column. You have to vote on each column, which is weird. You have to vote a delegate from each of the who's represented each section. Well, some people are going in saying, I'm here to support Cruz. I'm going to vote for Cruz here, but I'm going to vote for Trump the second round, but I'm really for Cruz. That way, somebody has a Cruz person in the second round in the Trump line, and it gives them more apt to more votes.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it's completely illegal.
Yeah. And I said, when did they change this rule? And they said, well, according to the Sun said, because he's also a delegate, but he said a couple of years ago they changed this. But what I find so fascinating in this is that it was almost as though it was a precursor of knowing what was going to come. It's like they knew. That's what's so interesting about this. I don't know if you listened to Sheila's message last Sunday, but she was talking about Rush Limbaugh, and she played Rush Limbaugh, and I'm tired, so Alex Jones
and
Michael Savage, and what I found so interesting is that she says in the 20-some years I've been listening to Rush Limbaugh, she goes, I would have never have thought that he could be a secret CIA agent, because the things that he was saying were they were manipulative. They were off. They were twisted. It was the same way. I don't know. Did any of you hear the interview with Sean Hannity and Ted Cruz this past week? Sean Hannity got upset with them. Said, I'm sick and tired of you, trying to get around this issue. And Sean Hannity was just asking. He says, explain to the people what happened in Colorado. Why did just the delegates, pick you? Why wasn't there a vote? And Ted's like, Sean, millions of people voted in Colorado, in Wyoming, he named off a few other states. They chose me as, the one to be the next president. And Sean's like, that's wrong. It was just the whole thing was just so deceptive and manipulative and everything. And then when I'm talking to this woman yesterday, I'm just getting that she's just, with Tom Emmer, and they're all bought. They're all bought. They're all part of the secret societies. They're all part of a secret agenda. It's all about power. What was Tom Emmer given? Because you look at Nancy Pelosi and the inside trader information that these politicians have. Is that it? Is that all that they're getting? One thing is the money. Money is nice to have because it brings about power. But what else is coming with that? Is it what are they offered?
I think it's access. The money gives them access. It gives them the power to get the access to the higher ups and gives them credibility
Right.
for the higher.
Yeah.
I think that's why Wall Street pays Hillary all that money for saying, I love you guys, because it gives them access to
Right.
her. Hopefully she'll have access to the higher ups.
Yeah, it's almost as though these individuals go into these campaigns running to lose. You look at Romney, for instance. Romney, the first debate was excellent. Last two debates that he had, he lost them overwhelmingly to Obama. Was that the agenda the whole time? Today now it's like most likely it was. You listen to Alex Jones and Michael Savage and these guys, and yeah, it's absolutely incredible. I mean, even listening to Alex Jones, he was talking about Saxton. Buck Saxton. Yeah, he goes, he's a CIA operative. And he's ripping on Alex Jones. Oh, he's just a conspiracy theorist. I mean, you just can't trust anybody anymore. But there's a one world agenda, and most likely Rush Limbaugh and who knows who else. Glenn Beck are probably all a part of it. They're all a part of this agenda. So
the question is, why are the Saudis involved? Because they were just talking about 9/11. Those documents haven't come out yet, and they're saying like a lot of Saudis were maybe behind a lot of that.
Right. Well, yeah, most likely they are. I mean, there's overwhelming evidence that they are. Part of that, they support terrorism. I mean, you listen to Michael Savage. I mean, he thinks Saudi Arabia is probably the worst terroristic country that's out there in the world. It even appears about Iran, supporting terrorism. And now, you have this 28-page release. If it happens, then the families will have the right to be able to go after the Saudi families. It's mind-blowing to me, because we just gave Saudi Arabians $10 billion because they're having issues with their oil, not selling their oil. It's down $10 billion. Each one of those Saudi families, the prince families, I mean, they have multi-billion-dollar estates. I mean, they're billion-dollar families, and we give them another $10 billion.
I thought the joke of the week was Iran. We bought their nuclear waste.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, we bought their nuclear waste to keep them on track with the treaty. I just like, what?
Oh my gosh.
And now, Obama's out there in Germany with Merkel with the TTIP. It's the whole trading, and I mean, people are in an uproar. They're like, we don't want what the United States has. And the honest truth is, as free as I thought this country was, I think the reality is that we are the one that's probably the most corrupt out of the whole world. We are the one with the CIA operatives that are throughout every nation that's controlling it underground. And it's sad, and the reason that the Lord has had mercy on this country is because of individuals like us, where there is a true foundation of wanting to live for Jesus Christ. And even though the churches have been so indoctrinated and infiltrated with the Egyptian mystery religion, the good thing is that the heart of man, God knows the heart of man, and that even though that there are Christians in every one of these denominations that are false, with these false teachings, to this point, the Lord has winked at so much of that false doctrine, because there are hearts that are truly after Him, wanting to know Him more in an intimate way, and He has mercy on us. He has grace on us, and it'll be interesting once Christ appears, once that joining happens, and it could happen soon. It's going to be fascinating what takes place here. So I did notice Trump this past week is in favor of transgender bathrooms, and it will be interesting to see how this unfolds, because Trump says dumb things. And I think a lot of times he hasn't put a whole lot of thought into it. And I did see something else yesterday. I wasn't able to read the article, but that he's kind of come out and said that it should be left to the states. So I think he's kind of backtracking a little bit. Michael Savage was saying Thursday or Friday, Ted Cruz got up and, Ted Cruz was nailed it right on the head. He says, this is wrong, and Ted Cruz is right, and Michael Savage says, he was right in this. Trump was dead wrong. Does that mean that I'm going to change my vote and not vote for Trump? He goes, no. He goes, I'm still voting for Trump. And he says, hopefully Trump's eyes open up and realize this. We've seen Trump do it before. I hope Trump isn't the Antichrist. I really don't. I hope that, if he is elected president, that, the border goes up and the wall goes up and things happen as he promised they would. But in as corrupt as it is, our salvation is not in man. It's got to be in the Lord. And it'll be really interesting to see how this plays out over these next several months up until November. It'll be interesting to see what other stuff Obama does. You see this politically correct, Harriet Tubman going on the $20 bill in replace of
Throwing slavery in our face.
Right. It's never ending. You look at the Black Lives Matter and that whole thing, it's getting out of hand. So very interesting. It's you see earthquakes that are taking place, when we're down to Texas. It just seemed like it was one after the other. Something very spiritual about that. Volcanoes had happened again, and what is the cause of it? Is it man-made? Who knows? Who knows? Alex Jones was talking about what's being put in the air, and the weather patterns and everything else, and more and more it's looking like it's man-made. How much does man can really control that we are just so ignorant to? And what's going to happen in all this? So we've got a God who is on the verge of appearing in such a dynamic way, in such a powerful way, and we better hold on and get ready, because it's gonna, rough times are coming. There's no doubt about it. So other than that, that's all I wanted to really share this morning. Is there anything else anybody would like to share on this topic before we get started?
I don't know, this morning on Fox News Sunday, Trump did say that his wife told him he needed to act more like a presidential candidate.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah. Well, it just means in his, how he communicates things. And
I know, but the question came up, has he been pretending now, putting on a show, or is this the real one, or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they don't like
So
him.
that's just gonna,
Every question that they give Trump is a setup for the next
Yep.
question to trap him. Absolutely. So, yeah, pretty incredible what he has been through. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But all right, well, let's end this file here.